I've been working with people for about 21 years now, and one of the things that's really beginning to strike me is how difficult it is for people to pay attention, to be able to hold their attention on something for a while, to be able to move it when they want to, and to be able to hold it on something without becoming bored. And this is one of the most important skills if you want to accomplish something in your life, is to be able to put your attention on something and hold it there. You're not going to be able to accomplish much. You're not going to be able to think deeply. You're not going to be able to write songs and play guitar and get really good at race driving, do all kinds of things unless you can control where that attention is and get through that part of your mind that's getting bored. Now, there's lots of ways to do that. Sometimes you can kind of move it from one thing to another thing and back to the thing, so that you can kind of move it around a little bit if you have that kind of mind that likes to jump. You can purposely make it jump from piece to piece to piece. But it's really important to be able to hold your attention on something for a while, and it's a skill to develop. It's one of the things I used to teach by having you stare at a flower and just hold your attention, say, on a rose. And they say, hold their attention there for 3 minutes. And obviously your mind is going to jump around, it's going to bounce around, and you just keep putting it back in the same way that you might with a dog that you're trying to train, that you want to sit next to you, or you say sit outside where there's other dogs running around and things going on. You just keep bringing them back. You keep retraining the mechanism to stay here, to stay now, to stay on this thing that's in front of you. There's so much technology now that's teaching your mind to not be able to do that. That's going to work against you in almost every single way. Other people are going to be able to use it against you. So one of the greatest acts of self-defense is to be able to put your attention where you want it and keep it off what you don't want it on. So the art of keeping it off things is putting it on something else. It's almost impossible not to think about something. But you can think about something else. So instead of not doing this, just you're doing this. And if this thing that you're looking at over here can be interesting for you, or can feel safe for you, or can be inviting for you, can be really helpful from keeping your mind going these places you don't want to go, which is often drawn by advertising and marketing and colors and flavors and additives and drugs and alcohol and sexualized content, all kinds of things that are drawing your mind all kinds of places that's useful for other people and less useful for you, and in many cases might be actively against you. So practicing to get your mind in one place, and let's say you can do it for 5 seconds. Just do it for 5 seconds 10 times in a row. And then tomorrow maybe you try to do 6 seconds 10 times in a row. And then maybe you do 6 seconds 15 times in a row. Just some way to practice keeping your mind on what you're doing or where you want it to be. Because right now it's being dragged every which way. And that's not good for like what you want, for where you want to go. It's how other people are able to manipulate you, because you can't control this primary thing that you have as a being, which is your attention. It's where your consciousness is going. The more you can direct that yourself and have it pulled away from you less, the more of the life that you want to live is going to become available to you. If you can't do that, just start practicing. It's okay. It takes a long time. Very few people are really good at it at the beginning, and most people have to work at it. Certainly I did. Most of my teachers did, and they talk about it a lot. Having gone through martial arts, often you learn that skill by having somebody punch you, or punch at you, or swing a stick at you, or swing a knife, or swing a sword. You better be able to keep your attention there if someone is swinging a knife at you. It's one other way to think about it, but there's lots of ways to train it. Be careful of the things that just drag you to them, that just pull you to them, and then you become sort of infatuated with it, where you can't get yourself back out because they're drawing you somewhere. Something else is pulling you somewhere that you may not want to go. You want to try to get some conscious control over this. And the more times you feel, and if you can just feel it at the beginning, that's a really great first step. If you can just feel, hey, I'm being drawn over here. Why is this so seductive? Why do I feel like I'm pulled over here and I have no choice? Step 1 is noticing it. Step 2 is trying to make a little space so that you can get away from it. Step 3, put your attention somewhere else so that that pull comes, you notice it in yourself. Often you'll feel it in your body, you'll feel it in your emotions. It's something that's moving your mind that isn't exactly intellectual. It's usually doing it through your emotions or your body, which is often fear or something sexy or something that just kind of gets your juices flowing. So when you feel that something is pulling you in, just make some space, look at something else. Use it as like a training ground. Okay, something wants me to look over there. There's something drawing me over there. Some part of me that's into this, but I don't want to go over there. Just find something else and choose it ahead of time. I'm going to put my attention on writing my book. I'm going to put my attention on listening to this kind of music. I'm going to put my attention on looking at this artwork. I'm going to put my attention on looking at these flowers. Just find something that you actually kind of like. And so I write books, so the book one for me is pretty useful. Something that you can just kind of get engaged in that you choose, so it isn't being chosen for you. As we go further into technology, as things go faster, as all the different platforms, TikTok and YouTube and Facebook and all these cool tools we have, they move forward and they go quicker. And the introduction of AI, it's going to be harder and harder to do this. And the people that can do it are going to have options that the people don't have or do have. So you want to use this for yourself. You want to move yourself forward and practice this skill. Try to get so you can do it for 30 seconds, or for a minute, or for 10 minutes. There's other great methods for learning how to do that. There's a bunch in my books if you want to look them up. They're on Amazon and a bunch of other platforms. But the more you practice them, the more distance you can make between these things sort of pulling you where they want you to go, and you can choose where you want to go, the better life you're going to have, the more fun you're going to have, the better control of your emotions you're going to have, the better you're going to sleep, the better your long-term health is going to be, the better your finances are going to be, the better chance you have the life that you want, and you don't suffer the life that you don't want. This is one of the key, if not the key variable in what's going to kind of keep you safe, because you're not going to get dragged into places you don't want to be. You're going to recognize where you're somewhere you don't want to be, meaning you go into a dark alleyway and you're not looking at your phone, you're actually looking at where you're going. You say, man, this would be a good place for something bad to happen to me. And you go somewhere else. So you just turn around and go the other way. That's happened to me numerous times, particularly when I was traveling. And I ended up somewhere, I'm like, this is not a good place for me to be. And you just got to turn around and go back the other way. But if I were looking at my phone, if I couldn't pay attention, if I were distracted too much, that can put you in danger. But technology has changed so much. AI is changing so much, which are wonderful tools. Make sure you're using the tool. The tool isn't using you. It's a really important difference. And try to work on it from here, especially if you're a younger person and you're getting into all this stuff and you've been raised with all these inputs. You're going to have to break yourself free, almost like breaking yourself free from the matrix. But you can do it. You're a human being. You have the capacity. There's tools that people want to help, and I'm happy to help too. So recognize it's there. Start to break yourself free and give yourself a couple years to get really good at it. Really practice it as much as you can. Find your own training methods, because this could save your life. It could make your life worth living. And there's a lot of downside to not being able to control where your attention is going, what is filling your consciousness. You want to try to choose as much as you can what's filling your consciousness. And you do that by moving your attention. So follow for more tips to feel better.